Freeze! You're under arrest for causing pain and suffering to people worldwide. You've been busted, bozo! Yes, another criminal brought to justice.
So you might be thinking, who is this handsome rogue sitting in his chair so comfortably after accomplishing gosh knows what? Well, folks, that's me, Inspector M. It was a snowy night, and I was sitting in my office one day, wasting time on my chair, reading my literature in picture format, because for one, not all detectives are smokers, and two, there wasn't a case going on. And as soon as that thought came into mind...
Hello?
Inspector, we have a case for you. It's the Last Action Hero case.
Being an inspector is not as flashy as it looks. It's a lot of hard work, especially when you don't have a case to dwell upon. But now I do, and this will be a difficult one to tackle, because the case I'm working on is the Last Action Hero case. I'm in for a long night. So the first observation I made up on seeing this case is that this game is a movie-based game. Why, you ask? How many games have you heard of that stars Arnold Schwarzenegger in it without it being a movie? Probably none. Now, since it's a movie-based game, I felt the need to go and watch this movie before I can begin my case on this game. I must say, the movie had its cheesy, unbelievable moments, but overall, it was an entertaining movie to sit back and watch. If I wasn't watching it with an annoying chatterbug of a critic sitting right next to me. Oh my god, this movie is a load of 455! What in the name of Morse code is 455 supposed to mean? Some kind of code for a heist? I'll never know. Well, after seeing the movie, I went right on to reviewing the game. Let me tell you, the first thing that I foresaw the events that were yet to come was this music. This is like someone playing what I like to call trash metal in their garage to annoy their neighbors. Hate these type of people very much, with no regards to others. Then I proceed to start the game, and we're given the story from the movie. From what I can compare to the movie, it seems to be consistent, until he gets pulled into the movie and consistency just drops dead. If you've seen the movie, then you will know that this is the reenactment of Jack Slater 3. However, we were told Danny was watching 4, so I was immediately puzzled and came up with the conclusion. This was not going to turn out well. So let the investigation begin. So up on playing this game, I witnessed two things. One, this was going to be a side-scroller beat-em-up. And two, I was greeted with, if not the most ear-screeching music I've ever encountered.
By the Lord of Tekken, I will air juggle your bomb!
Why do I get the feeling this will come back to haunt someone? But putting that aside, looking at this game at first glance, backgrounds in this game are pretty decent standards of your average game, and the police force in the background sure is helpful like they were in the movie. Your character does resemble the protagonist from the movie. The thing is, his character looks like Crafty McCrap. Pressing on! I examine my controls and find that I'm only capable of punching and kicking. You have a jump and duck button that doesn't seem to add any extra attacks to help, so check that too for bad game design. And the rest of the buttons? They do nothing. This was not going to end well. Upon proceeding with this game, I run into some resistance. It seems L from Death Note was in this game as a street punk reject running around at me with a butter knife. That's pretty odd, as I don't recall him being in the movie. But disregarding the nitpicking, I proceed to beat the living stuffing out of him by using the only efficient method of putting him out of commission, was to punch him, as kicking has a delay that leaves me wide open to attacks for a split second too long, and also not to mention there is no combo attack you can use. Hit detection needs to be point on for your attacks, or else they'll go right through them. Also, they can fly off screen and you can't hit them, so you have to wait for them to get back into the screen. After dealing with L, I was not satisfied with how I dispatched my enemy, so I decided to give him a parting gift. He's going to feel that in the morning. Typical street punk trying to get in my way. We then proceed to meet Ash Ketchum, as I see his career as a Pokemon trainer failed miserably and is now another low-life street punk in the streets of California, running at me with a baseball bat. Speaking of baseball bats, you don't get to use any weapons, like any good beat-em-up should. And what about all the guns that Arnold had in the movie? Did he forget to bring them in this game?
Well, I always remember to bring mine just in case. Where's my gun?
Well, Ash goes down like a jigger and gets a parting gift as well. Oh, how'd you like those Pokeballs, Mr. Ketchum? But moving on, a golden ticket from the movie drops in. The purpose this ticket serves is to heal your injuries, but look at this. Look at this. Look at that. That was pathetic. You might as well not even give me one, because they don't seem to pop up a lot in this game. The game eventually adds more enemies to fight, making this more annoying than it is. Since, as I said, this is not exciting in the least bit, since the only thing I'm capable of is punching. Back to the case at hand. Without needing me to tell you, you'll be beating enemies screen after screen. Quite a common formula in most beat-em-ups. The only difference between those and this is this game blows serious ding-dongs while you're not excited in the least bit. It's kinda like sex, except this person is boring. Well, enough weird metaphors. As we move on, this happens.
Okay, time's up. What happens? This did not just happen. You demand that I start the search all over again? What a load of pancakes!
As you have witnessed, when you die from anything in this game, you are sent to the start and forced to do this all over again. No checkpoints, no questions asked, no mercy is shown, just a hard punch in the ding-dong. And you lose. Good day, sir. This also applies when you are killed by a reject, so what are the lives for if it doesn't let me get back up, fight with a fresh bar of health, and a restored time limit? So I'm required to beat these random low-life rejects, speed run through with a time limit that just barely gives you enough time to beat the level all in one life, or it's back to square one. Good luck there. But fortunately for me, there is a Konami code in this game. Apparently this game was so hard for the developers, they had to cheat to beat it. Shows how much of a good game this is. The secret lies in the back of the first police car you encounter, and all you have to do is punch it until you get 5,000 points. What does the secret do? Well, if you press and hold either L or R, you recover health. But I don't need to worry about dying anymore, but the time limit is still a doozy to beat. I arrived near the end of the level and I kept my eye on the time. As Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! Tries to burn me alive, the time is just still barely enough for me to handle all these punks. But I made it, and the next part starts. So stopping for now, I took off the time at the bar to recall what has happened so far. Now what do I have in my notes to go against this game? Let's see, we have terrible music, so far, limited attacks, involving just a punch, useless button that could have had some use, extra moves. No combo moves, which would have helped with beating some of the enemies, but they fly back anyways. Point-on hit detections, you have to be at a fixed distance to hit them. Off-screen enemies that you can't hit unless they're in the screen, but they can hit you while they're off-screen. No weapons like guns, baseball bats, or knives, or anything of that nature. Just your hard-on fist. Terrible health item. Very boring repetitive gameplay due to all the reasons above. No checkpoints. Bad penalties. Lives are completely useless because you should have spawned where you died. Bad time limit. And hard for all the wrong reasons. I could have just ended the case with all the evidence I have here, but my hunch said that there was more to this case than it meets the eye. So I returned to the game. Soon enough, it throws me into the next part where we're in the building. There is this one part in the building where it just puzzles me. Why can't I get up this elevator? I'm pushing up? Come on. I do not have the time to waste with you. Come on. Up. Going up. Second floor. Oh, but guess what? You have to go all the way to one side of the elevator before it allows you to go up. That's just great. And we do the same thing in the last part. That is just brilliant. Well, almost the same thing. Right near the end we face the Ripper, and...
This game is unfudging believable!
This game was not joking in the least bit. By the time you arrive at this point in the game, you have less than 30 seconds to beat the Ripper. Luckily, he's a joke and goes down like a jigger. Thank the Lord he was easy to beat. Next we're in a driving scene. This part of the game is so pathetic, all you have to do is stick to the left side of the road. Well, putting that aside, we drive on the top of the road and we just stay here until we reach here, and the level's over.
Well, that was insultingly easy.
Indeed it was, but moving on, check this out. I can't explain what compelled me to do it, I just did. Moving along this case, I encounter opponents with guns. Not good, if this realistically happened. But same result, they don't pose too much of a problem, and at the end... Looking at all the hits I took, I started to wonder how would you beat this normally without cheating. Well, that's just dandy, having the health disappear and then it just hits you. There is platform jumping, so the jump button wasn't completely useless. There was a small moment in the school level that you could jump to get health, but I didn't need it. Speaking of health, how could you fight these people normally without cheating? You clearly would have been dead before you get here. Great work, Last Action Hero. I'm on to you. But back to the platforming. You only do it for this level, and that's a relief. This would have been a terrible idea if there was more. As I reached near the end of this level, something compelled me once again to say something weird.
Oh, get to the chopper!
After getting that out of my system, like when going to the toilet, we battle it out with a helicopter. Arnold did battle a helicopter in the movie, but what in the name of Blasberry am I supposed to do? Punch it? Well, that's not working, so I started to consider all the possibilities I can do to damage the helicopter, and I came to one conclusion. Actually, it was the only conclusion I could come up with. Rocket punching. Ridiculous. But that's the only way. And it works. I don't know how that would work, but even when I figured out what to do, this battle just makes me ask, why? The rockets fly at you, so you have to punch them in return. But sometimes the rocket goes too low for you, and don't forget, the kick takes just a little bit too long to get into action, so punching is the only option you have. But still, just why, I asked myself. So, what proceeds to happen next, I wonder? More driving from that one scene in the movie. I don't recall the cars trying to kill Arnold here, and it's even more of a joke when all you have to do is this. Oh, but before that happens, I discovered this.
Why did you give me so much time if all you're gonna do is make it go to 0 anyways?
I needed to take a break for a moment, so I went to grab a yogurt. Yes, I just said yogurt. So we are in reality and at the movie theaters, but somehow the enemy rejects from the movie came along too. Well, that's odd, and law enforcement here is just as bad as it was in the movie. Literally.
I said I have murdered a man and I want to confess. Hey, shut up down there!
While we are making progress, we end up here, at a dead end for what you say? Just to go back to the elevator. I assume we're cleaning out the bad guys, and this repeats for a few floors. We fight the Ripper again, but this time I have more time, but there's more to deal with than that. We got one more boss fight to fight, and it's Benedict, and his tactic is to shoot little light bulbs at you and teleporting around. But he goes down like a jigger regardless, and there we have it. The end of the game with a terrible end music to it.
Recap.
I had all the evidence I needed to bust this criminal's bum. And so I proceeded to busting their bums.
Freeze! You're under arrest for causing pain and suffering to people worldwide. You've been busted, bozo.
Another case solved by me, Inspector M. I just had something that's been bugging me since the end of that case. Was the game really that bad? And after giving it some thought, it was a waste of money. So yes, the game is bad. Case was not over yet.
Hello?
Inspector, did you hear about the case in Nestopia?
I still have to deal with the same case in Nestopia. Luckily for me, it was fairly easy, and here's my report on it. The last action hero case in Nestopia was actually better than the one in District 9X. It follows the movie better, it has better gameplay and controls, but it's slightly difficult due to how the game works. Everything that proceeds to touch me will injure me, thus making the game unfairly harder than it should be. Is it a good game? I would say it just passes as a playable game, and with that, case closed.
That failed.
Freeze! You're under arrest for arrest.
Oh, get to the chopper! Oh, get to the chopper! You stole my father's sword! I'll be back. Oh, get to the chopper!
Hey, Blanco Gamer here. Oh, screw you!